that we grew up watching and were able to work with. It's just a huge honor and dream come true.
And then when you actually first met Rick, would that have been when you were working preliminary matches, or would that have been when Rick came over to the WWE in 2001 or two or whatever that was?
I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly when that was. I mean, I know it's in the WWE when we first met, but I can't remember exactly. I don't know if Rick does, but it was
Yeah,
somewhere in the WWE after the Attitude era. Sometime after that, I'm not sure.
yeah. I
I
came in.
can't really remember.
I came in, and you and Matt were like the two of the biggest components in the company, um,
Okay,
and then
so that was during the Attitude era, maybe
no,
That would
right,
have been
right after,
2001.
right after.
Late.
right after. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay,
and I knew
that
that
sounds right.
Michael Hayes loved you guys, and to this day, I mean, he's a huge fan of yours, as is everybody. I mean, Conrad, it's hard to explain, but and this is taking nothing away from Matt, but Jeff was over like Sting, like Ricky Steamboat. I mean, one of those guys. I mean, he captured the imagination of not only every young kid. I mean, a young kid, just kids, period, and adults. But the girls loved him. It was Jeff Hardy, Swanton man, and I only took
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. No problem.
Oh
Problem.
man, yeah. I was as nervous working with you. If you thought you were nervous, I
Oh
in my
God.
in my prime, I was going off the top rope once in a while, but I wasn't doing inverted dives, swantons. And I swear to God, every time I see Jeff or I see Beth, I say, "How is he holding up? You never slow down, man. You just keep going." And now you got a broken leg from playing around in your front yard on a motorcycle, right?
Yeah, yeah, and you were doing those swantons all those years before. I had a little different style to mine, but for all those years, you were off that top turnbuckle, man, doing basically the same thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I broke my leg April 28th on my dirt bike at my track here that I designed. I'd made three jumps, probably 2.5 years ago, and I've been terrified of them. But I was wrestling good when Matt and I won the TNA World Tag Team titles. I feel like I was wrestling the best I've ever wrestled in my entire life, and I was also riding good because during my whole career I've always rode dirt bikes, motocross in my spare time. And I finally built up the nerve to do one of them, and it went great. I made it. I waited about a month before I attempted the next one, and again it was terrifying, but I got over that fear and went for it, and I made it. It was great. But that third one, man, the same kind of thing. I was afraid that the fear got the best of me because I could have hit it a little faster, but I came up short, and it was horrible. I mean, I cased the landing so bad, and I just remember waking up on the ground and in terrible pain. I couldn't breathe, and for the first time in my life, I could not get back up. And my buddy was up there filming it, and I said, "Yeah, we got to call 911. I got I got to go to the hospital." So at first I thought I broke both legs. It felt so intense, but yeah, luckily it was just my right leg. And now the problem is, after 4 to 5 months of dealing with that, my knee was swollen for so long. So I finally went back to the doctor that did my surgery, and I said, "Something's going on with my knee, man. You can really see it now that the swelling's starting to go down, and it just moves like it's so unstable." And he said, "Oh wow, you must have a torn ACL." I must have missed that because I was just focusing on your fixing your tibia. So then I go in for an MRI, get the MRI, come back to that same doctor. He says, "Wow, this is amazing. Your ACL is not torn, but we need to remove 20% of your meniscus." And I was going like, "What? Something strange is going on there." So
Wow.
I went to a knee specialist for a second opinion, thank God, because when I went to him, they totally misread my MRI. My PCL is destroyed, and that's what the problem is. That's why I have no stability in my knee. It's amazing I can walk as good as I can, and I actually got a pretty good brace. It feels to stabilize it pretty good. I think I'm gonna try to like wrestle with it, see how it goes. But I mean, I'm definitely looking at a surgery to go in there and surgically repair it because for me to ever be back to, because there's so many things I couldn't do now as far as landing on my knees, especially the way I wrestle. And I mean, I would have to totally modify my style, which I'm going to anyway. But long story short, they got to go in there and take out that rod that they put in my tibia to fix it and drill another hole through the tibia to fix the PCL. And then 6 to 9 months, I'll hopefully be 100% again.
Wow.
So, yeah, other than that, I'm doing okay.
All right, Rick, now it's time to talk about our very favorite sponsor here on Woo Nation. It's Casper Mattress. And, of course, we like talking about Casper Mattress because if anybody is a mattress expert, it's Ric Flair. Am I right?
A limousine riding, jet flying mattress expert.
And why do you need to know about Casper? Well, because they're the online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price. See, the mattress industry has inherently forced customers into paying notoriously high markups, but Casper is revolutionizing the industry by cutting the cost of dealing with resellers and showrooms and just passing that savings directly on to you, the consumer. So here's what you need to know about Casper. These mattresses have been obsessively engineered at a shockingly fair price. They've got just the right sink, just the right bounce, and they do this by combining two technologies, both latex foam and memory foam, and they're going to come together for brighter nights and better days. Isn't that right, Rick?
Brighter nights, longer nights, and for sure, brighter days.
Come on, risk-free trial and a return policy all in place for you at Casper as well. And here's what they're going to recommend you do. Try sleeping on a Casper for 100 days with free delivery and painless returns. Here's what we're talking about. These mattresses are made right here in America, and they're at an outstanding price. Only $500 for a twin-size mattress, only $950 for a king-size mattress. When you compare that to the industry average.
Conrad, I don't mean to interrupt you. Don't forget that, how's that song go? About a little afternoon delight on a Casper? Holy cow, man. It works.
And you can do it right now and get a great deal. All you've got to do, just for listening to Woo Nation, is go to Casper.com/Flair. How do you spell Flair, Rick?
Flair.
And when you get there, you're going to get an extra $50 off. So it's already a great price, but just for listening to our show here, Woo Nation, get an extra $50 off. Just go to Casper.com/Flair. And when you get there, you're going to enter what promo code, Rick?
Flair. Woo!
Casper.com/Flair. Don't forget the promo code Flair.
Woo! Yeah, well, I only keep up with you through what I hear from people. I mean, I talk to you guys when I see you. I've seen you. I guess last time I saw you was in Charleston. You and Beth were there with Matt at a signing we had with Steve Perkins. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, and we talked a little bit there, but gosh, it was so great seeing you. I mean, not only did you, I think you're one of these guys that's transcended the business in terms of, nobody did that, and then Ed, you and Matt were doing it. Then along came Edge, and I mean, it was just phenomenal. And then, I think it got to the point where they raised the bar so high. You guys did in terms of what you guys were doing on those ladder matches and stuff. And then I think the company kind of backed off for a while because it's the worst injury pay-per-view of the year. And this year they only came out with one guy getting hurt. So, and even that wasn't too bad. But what you guys have put yourself through, and I mean, to this day, that the two greatest bumps I've ever seen, obviously Foley going off the cage onto the table, but they play that spot of Edge spearing you in midair 12 feet in the air all the time. And I'm going, not a chance, Nature Boy. Not a chance. And then of course, they put me in a couple of those damn ladder matches, one with Edge and then one with your brother. And I looked around and I said, I could take the suplex off the top of the ladder. That was no problem. I just have no offense. And so I looked around and then that crew, we were in Chicago, and I walked up to Matt. I said, Matt, here's the deal. I'm going to take that suplex off the top rope, but I'm only taking it from you, Val. So all these other guys standing around are thinking about giving me that suplex that Vince wants me to take. The only one calls me. And Matt said, I won't forget you. So in other words, if I'm climbing up the top of the ladder, and it's not you climb up on the other side, Matt, I'm climbing down. I don't care what they say when I go backstage. So sure enough, Matt gave it to me. We made it. But I mean, the 12-foot ladders taking a suplex off the top. When I took it from Edge,
that's huge.
It doesn't hurt your body. But for me, like I've got that inner ear thing, it knocks that thing on my inner ear out, right? And
Yeah, right.
a-
Yeah, yeah.
and then I made the mistake of telling Edge we had that one in Raleigh, my first ladder match, and I told Edge, I said, I can't do anything, but I can take the bumps. I said, what can we do that'd be really cool that you've never done? He said, well, I could put you on a table and jump off the top of the ladder. It's 12 feet high. He said, that'd be pretty cool. I said, well, I can go, we can do that. Well, I had no idea what I signed up for there. So he
Oh,
put
Lord.
me on top of the table. I had cut myself, so I couldn't see anywhere. I was covered in blood, which always that helps conceal my weakness in the ring in terms of ability. I can always bleed. And he jumped off that thing on top of me, and the table broke like nothing. But you forgot that
Ooh,
he weighed 240 pounds, and you bottom
yeah,
out. No matter what happens, you're bottoming
yeah.
out with him on top of you. And I went, holy Christ, what have I done to myself? I was biting my fingers, pinching my thumbs, but I was fine.
From that high, that table's gonna go, man. And
Oh
it's gonna go
yeah,
quick,
yeah.
and then you
That's
got
that was
follow up splash on, yeah.
yeah. Well, that
Fine.
that was my claim to fame. And that was Edge, and Edge said, "Can you just push the ladder over?" I said, "Yeah, I guess I can do that. Put it in the right place, though." So Edge basically worked the ladder match with himself, but I was just
Yeah.
a component with a blade.
Even those 12-foot ladders, I mean, people that they're so big and the base is so wide. When you do like suplex, for example, man, you're landing pretty close to the ropes. The hardest part of the ring. So, I mean, it's crazy. And then when you talk about 14-foot tall ladders, I mean, then you're really getting up there. I mean, they do look
Yeah.
like 20-foot ladders. So if you ever go and actually look at a 20-foot ladder, which I have before, the base, with it being open, it would probably be almost as wide as the ring. They are huge. But 14 feet feels like 26, especially when you're
Have you
coming off
been
of
have
it.
you been on a 14-foot ladder?
That's the highest one yet. That's the
Oh,
highest one I
geez.
found myself in.
Listen, they're not
Yeah,
getting 12 feet was my limit, and I was hoping they'd put an 8-foot one in just for me, and maybe the people wouldn't notice.
yeah. When I wrestled Matt at with the WrestleMania, when Matt and I wrestled, we did I did the leapfrog off. I believe it was off of 12 over a 14. So I was posting off of 14, and that was insane. And oh my God, it hurt so much. But yeah, that was the biggest leapfrog leg drop I've done because those 14-foot ladders are huge. And I mean, speaking of injuries, like I don't know, is Christian? He's been injured quite a bit. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, yeah, well, he's got the concussion issue going on. I think he's
Okay, I missed some.
I think he's pretty much, finished up in terms of ever wrestling again, as is Edge
Wow.
because of the neck issue, so,
Yeah,
um
Edge and Matt. Even Matt had a few surgery, but he is great now. He's wrestling. He's doing. I think he's better than ever, man. But why I bring that up is because me, I've been so lucky. This is my although it was outside the ring, I got hurt. This is my first serious injury that I'm dealing with. So now I realize how much I love wrestling, because I got to go to these shows and do these appearances, and not being able to be a part of it just kills me. And so I'm getting a taste of what, Matt's gone through, Adam, with the surgeries and all that stuff. I realize what that's like now, and it does. It hurts, and I just hope I can get back to normal.
Oh, you will, the thing about you, Jeff, is you guys, you've always stayed very fit, you've never had a weight issue and that means a lot when you're healing. I mean, because God, you have put your body through a lot. I mean, you take just 5 years of doing those ladder matches, say once a month or once every 3 months, I mean, or 6 years, how many years you did it. I mean, that was a lot. I mean, I just did 2, and it was later in my career. I was in my 50s, but still my body held up. Does that make sense? Even when I wrestled you, I was like 55 years old, right? What was I
All right,
thinking
yeah.
about?
Why? Oh my gosh, I remember my ankle was really bad that night. That's one thing I remember about that match. When I was struggling with that pretty bad. But yeah, that's still so cool to say that I wrestled Ric Flair, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, you wrestled Ric Flair, half of Ric Flair.
Okay,
The 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 the
that's
be
still good for me.
the better half was around 1989. But I sure had fun doing it. Well, tell me, so I'm trying to put all this together. You have to have surgery again now before you can even start the healing process?
Yeah, most likely. I'm gonna try to wrestle with this brace on in January. I think I'm going to see what it feels like, but I mean, I'm kind of scared, honestly, to see what it. I don't want to hurt it worse, you know. And I tried physical therapy for a month, and the physical therapist and me agreed. It was like, man, there was several things I couldn't even do. My right leg so weak, and he said, "Hey, man, you could the way you fly around, especially, and even my chiropractor, he said it a long time ago. Oh, you can have that repaired, you know." So, but I mean, I'm going to give it a shot. I think I want to try maybe just like a few easy matches and just see how it feels. I'm just going to have to, avoid landing on my knees and maybe not doing as many moves I normally do and just see how it goes. But ultimately, I mean, I'm going to end up having the surgery sometime early next year, and sadly, I'll probably be missing most of 2016.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, here's the deal. I was with you when I first came. When I first came to TNA, you were there, right? And you showed me your royalty check that just came from WWE, and you've been gone for 2 years. I don't feel sorry for you, okay?
You're right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Conrad. This guy got some royalty checks on the WWE, brother. He's like number 2 of all time. Not trying to give anything away, Jeff, but I saw it and I went, "You got to be kidding me, man! Let's go cash that and go out tonight." Because Jeff Hardy can drink. I got news for you. Not anymore. Beth's got him on a short lease, but Jeff Hardy can roll, man. We were in Europe one time drinking Jack, and I actually caught Jeff throwing the Jack over his shoulder.
Well done.
Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. I was seeing triple, I believe.
Oh God. The greatest story of all time is the night that Jeff and Matt Hardy carried Shawn Michaels to his room. I finally cracked Shawn, and he came down to the bar. Remember Shane McMahon was there, Jeff?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He told that story. It wasn't long ago he told that story. What a great story, man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
Yeah, Shawn was keep telling me when if I asked him if I was going to grow up instead of going back on the bus and drinking with you guys. I said, not growing up anytime soon. So the first day it went by, and then he said, "Oh, okay, I'll have a Coors Light." Well, 1 became 2, 2 became 3, 3 became 4, and then we walk in the hotel one night. And I never go to catering, man. I'm going right to the bar, as you know. Sorry, I'll admit that. We were in that great hotel. I can't remember. And he said, "Damn it, I'm just going to do this one time just because you're making me so damn mad." So I left you guys. I saw him the next day, and the word was out that the Hardy Boys carried Shawn Michaels to his room. And that is legend. He'll never live that down.
Oh God, he's the best.
Oh, he's tremendous, man. What a great guy. Boy, he's just he just bought himself a 500-acre ranch in the middle of nowhere. He's just out there hiding from everybody.
Wow. I don't blame him, man. That's awesome.
He's on the Ponderosa in Abilene.
Oh my God. Somebody does he have a show too on some channel? Like I don't know if it's a hunting show or
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah, he's doing real well.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's got he's got both the kids there, and they're all growing up. Boy, his son is like 6'2" now. It's unbelievable. Cameron.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're out there, and they love it. I mean, he loves the privacy. He sold that big place he had in San Antonio and moved out there, and he just kind of like Austin. He just loves to hunt and fish, and he's got this big private gate. It's like driving in. It's kind of like going into Conrad's house. It's like it's a process. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, when you see the Conradison, Jeff, the Conradison is what we call Conrad's home. It's bigger in it's bigger in square footage than the whole city of Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
And who drives a $347,000 Rolls Royce around Huntsville, Alabama? Half the town doesn't even know what kind of car it is. Okay.
So Jim, let's talk a little wrestling. Let's get off.
Okay.
I'm curious, the Dudley Boys have recently come back, and you guys had a lot of magic matches with the TLCs back in the day that people still talk about and were really trendsetters, but they're getting kind of one last run in the WWE. what's the possibility of the Hardy Boys having a run like the Dudleys are right now?
I think there's a huge possibility down the road. Not sure when, but I think Matt and myself would love to end our careers in the WWE, and it'd be super, double great to be able to have a few more good ones with the Dudley Boys for sure. And I don't watch it. I've seen them on there a few times. I watch it every now and then, but even like the TLC, which I'm sure was amazing. Like, and I'll be honest, one of the main reasons I don't watch those shows is because the biggest love of me and the biggest part of me wants to be in those matches, and it kind of like that's why I don't watch them because I want to be a part of it. So I kind of stay away from watching it. But as far as us returning and having some more matches with them, it all depends on how long they're going to be there and how long it takes us to get there. I mean, but definitely it's a possibility. I'm just not sure when right now. Everything with me, Matt's ready to go. He can do anything now, but everything depends on my need right now as far as my future.
Yeah.
So what's your current status with TNA right now? I know they're moving over to a new television channel, and I know that you're going to be trying to work on rehabbing the knee this next year. But what do you think the future looks like with you and TNA?
Well, I'll be in my last year whenever I'm able to wrestle. I'll be in my last year with TNA. So and then I can decide like what I want to do from there. But I got it. Yeah. So it's kind of depending on how things go, we're gonna do some tapings. At the 1st of January, and depending on how that goes, it's kind of when I'm going to decide whether I get through surgery or try to work a while and avoid surgery with the brace. So it's kind of up in the air. But yeah, I will be in my last year with TNA.
Well,
I am in my last year with TNA after February 28th. So.
well, it's nice to know that you've had a success both places, but I mean, there's no way in the world that Matt and Jeff Hardy aren't in the Hall of Fame of the WWE someday. So
Sure.
I would bet my life that you guys end up there for a couple of years before it's where you guys decide to wrap it up.